Commodore Crunch, who some think is out to lunch. However, red sky in morning, sailor take warning. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. I hope you get the riff.
Today's lesson is on water. There's water all around us, and it's important to familiarize ourselves with what kinds of water: salt water, fresh water, rainwater, bilge water, drinking water. This here is a H2O sun shower. This makes hot water, good for washing. And this is not new. It's new to us, but it's not new. And to turn this on, you why don't we go into a little bit of chart work here? This is called a chart. This one happens to be waterproof. A chart is what on land is construed as a map. On a vessel, you call it a chart. And this chart is of the local waters of Long Island Sound, where we're located here. And right here you have Riverhead area. Right here you got the Great Peconic Bay, Little Peconic Bay, the Hog Neck, Noyak Bay, Shelter Island Sound, Gardner's Bay, Shelter Island itself, Robbins Island, and all the sewage that goes back and forth at each tide change. Up here's the Long Island Sound. Down here's the Atlantic Ocean. Now, a few points about a chart. There are small indications here. These are channel markers. And assuming that the fellows in the Coast Guard have done their job properly, when you sail by one of these, it should have a number on it. And that number should correlate with that number on your chart. And you know right where you are. Coast Guard's been known to name the same buoy twice, which can get things confusing, but that's not a real problem because we understand how they work. Now, this right here, along the full length of this chart right here, that's called a crease. That's from folding it. This one's got a crease. There's nothing you're going to do about it. Crease is there, so we forget about it. Now, the last thing, but not least, what's important here, you see all these numbers. There are numbers all over this chart. And what these numbers represent are the various speed limits. And, for instance, where it says 1, 2, 3, that's very slow. We stay out of those areas because that must be just for people with very, very slow boats. Those paddle wheelers, people frolicking, swimmers. Swimmers might like this area. Now, you get over here and you can go up to 13 miles an hour. Much better for us. But then on the other hand, you get over here, and here, this is 74 miles an hour up here. That must be just for cigarette boats. This must be the channel going, that's just for the recreational motorboaters. Over here, you got 53 miles an hour. And it's odd, but as you get closer to land, they want you to go slower. I guess because there's more chances of collisions closer to land, just more traffic. So I see they slow you down from 56 miles an hour to 49 to 37 to 21 to 12 miles an hour. And then there are all these little black stars here. I'm not quite sure what those are. They could be horseshoe crabs. However, we'll just leave that alone for now. And going to quickly cover the points of sail. They include close hauled, which is what we're doing right now. We're as close to the source of the wind as we can possibly get on a port tack. We'll then go to close reach, beam reach, broad reach, and running free. We're adjusting the jib in preparation for a close reach. We'll be heading off the wind. In other words, heading away from the source of the wind slightly, so that she's not as close to the source of the wind as possible, and this increases our speed slightly. It's called a close reach. The wind is coming over the forward quarter of the boat, but not off the side. It's a beam reach. The wind is coming directly over the side of the boat, passing straight through. This is a fast point of sail, but not the fastest. We're now on a broad reach, which is purported to be the fastest point of sail. The wind's light, and so perhaps you'll notice that our speed has not increased. The wind's decreased. However, the broad reach is known to be the fastest point of sail. You don't usually find boats going dead downwind in races. They tack downwind. They stay on broad reaches. It's fast. We're now on what you call running free, or wing and wing. This isn't an especially quick point of sail, but it's pretty. And it means that the wind is coming directly over your stern. It's called running free. You let your sails out all the way as if they were two big pieces of plywood. And it's really kind of relaxing. Spitting into the wind, that could be likened to peeing off the windward rail. This here's the leeward rail. If you need to pee, it's always advisable to do it on the leeward rail. A few words on sunblock. This brand here, and we won't mention any names, is probably one of the best. And as you can well see, it's marked 30. There's 15, there's 45, there's 30. These numbers are reference numbers, and they're there to tell you how many sips you're supposed to take in a day. Well, that's 10. I think I'm going to wait an hour or so. Last time I did all 30 at once, I felt downright ill. We'll just have to change the program. This is a lesson in disembarkation. I'm going to land from the good vessel Eloquence. And you like to be prepared, as you can see. We're ready for any emergency. We've got the water, we've got the juice, and we've got the other things in a waterproof bag here, just in case the worst thing happens. And what you do is you cast off, and you install the oar in the oar lock, and you install this oar in this oar lock, and voila. Start rowing. Rowing's easy. You can row in circles like this. That doesn't get you far. Or you can just start rowing towards shore, which is exactly what I'm going to do. This is a proper rowing technique. on the water, there's such a thing as there's a dress code. That's ideal. And there's more casual dress code. There's also what's called waving etiquette. Now, I'm not talking about these waves over here. I'm talking about these waves. Now, when exiting or entering a harbor, it's common for boaters to address one another. Normally, you find that the motorboaters stick together, and the sailboaters tend to do the same thing. They don't communicate to each other too often. Now, when the sailboat approaches or passes, coming from the other direction, and it's someone you like, you give them a big wave, and you let them know the way you feel about them. Now, if it's somebody that perhaps caught you from behind, and it's another sailboater, you're not going to be apt to give them the same kind of wave. You're going to give them a more of a, we call it the cool wave. You don't want to be too friendly with anyone that's going to go faster than you. That's for sure. They had the nerve. Now, there's also, what do you do when a motorboater does wave at you? Well, you have to return it so you can give them the old wave. You've done the right thing. In fact, you did wave. What if he couldn't see it? He couldn't see it. Tough luck. Too bad. And then there's a wave for the pre-collision wave. That's this. And hopefully you've served to avoid a collision at sea. We've discussed collisions at sea before. And then there's always a wave for the huge motorboat that has just come by and has almost capsized you with his wake in the most insensitive fashion, and that's the wave for him. We reserve those. You can't catch them, so you might as well just make a mean hand motion towards him. When solo sailing the good ship Eloquence, it's very important to remember that after all, you're all alone. It's just you and the good ship Eloquence. You have to adjust the sails by yourself. Remember, all adjustments are vital in order to maintain a good heading and keep hull speed. So, as you've noticed, you adjust the jib, you cleat the jib, you adjust the main right after that, and voila, hull speed. No problem. Then there's a question of tacking while sailing alone. This requires more practice. I mean, more expertise. When we tack, we always view the depth of the water, which appears to be 11 feet at this very moment. So what we do is we prepare to tack, and we grab the leeward jib sheet here and prepare to tack the vessel. Remember to loosen the leeward jib sheet, and this will become the windward jib sheet. I mean, loosen the leeward. This will be the leeward jib sheet in a minute. Remember to loosen the present leeward jib sheet. Whatever. Bottom line is, you bring the boat around in a circle. Okay? So it goes like this. What you do is you grab the helm. You got these two sheets in your hands now. The main should take care of itself because it's on a traveler. No problem. So what you do is you, of course, call the orders, even though you're all alone. It really doesn't matter. But you call them anyway. Prepare to tack, like somebody's here. Ready about, hard to lee. You push the tiller to lee. You come about. Loosen what becomes the windward jib sheet. You take in on what becomes now the new leeward jib sheet. Everything should work in your favor at this point, and you've made a successful tack. Then you cleat the leeward jib sheet. This is a correct cleat, and you're back underway. No problem, no problem. And you relax for a few minutes.
Problem when you're solo sailing is that who's going to throw you a preserver? So when these incidents occur, it's important to have a little beeper on you whereby your good vessel launches a life preserver. It's very important. Of course, if the wind's blowing very hard, it could be a problem because the vessel could keep going. However, in this case, that didn't happen. But the beeper worked. And so the good vessel Eloquence did manage to launch a preserver. And I'm very happy to have my hands on it at this place in time. Whether or not one is trained in the backstroke isn't important, because when you want to get back to your vessel, all you really care about is the crawl. So you crawl as fast as you can back to your vessel. Of course, bearing in mind that she's got no wind. We'll take up the issue of high winds at another time.
You know, what you don't manage to learn in the standard Captain Commodore Crunch instructional series, you can probably find in this Chapman's Piloting, Seamanship, and Small Boat Handling. This is the Bible of all small boat sailors. Small boats being anything smaller than the Titanic. We're just right inside the cover here. Here's an example of another chart, and this is a really good one because not only do they show you the chart, this happens to be Eaton's Neck here. Boy, Eaton's Neck, that's got some fast cars, I'll tell you. Right up on the top of Eaton's Neck, you can go 150 miles an hour. You got to slow down to 100 over here. That's fast, but you got to go much slower in the water around Eaton's Neck. It's a slow area. Right in here, 7 to 9 miles an hour at that's Asharoken Beach and Duck Island. And boy, over here you can speed up a little, get up to the 40s, 42 miles an hour. Over here you slow down to 24. Well, it's all well marked. As you can see, number 1 is a nun up here, picture of a nun. Number 2 looks like a green flasher, sure enough, green flasher. Number 3, flashing bell, sure enough, there it is. This is a great chart. Number 4, what do we have number 4 over here? Stacks, 610 feet. There's some 610 foot stacks right there. Number 5, we've got the Eaton's Neck Coast Guard Tower. There it is, the tower itself. And 6 over here is a Northport platform. I don't know what that does. Looks like an oil rig to me. Anyway, that's a beginning of Chapman's. Mr. Chapman himself looks like a sailor. Just looking at him.
I quit it.
In order to be a qualified instructor, you have to know how to teach. So this is a cursory lesson in how to teach. Today on the good vessel Eloquence, we've got a student on board.
Adult.
An adult, yes, thank you, Miss Stone. Miss Stone is here for a lesson on sailing. She's managed to handle the helm quite well today. She's been good. She's seems to understand the chart. And there are a few points that I'd like to make to you, Miss Stone, and that's, after all, you've paid for this lesson ahead of time. I appreciate that.
I get a copy of this after, don't I?
Well, as a matter of fact, we may be able to arrange that. I guess that's not guaranteed. So, might as well just go over the points of sail. Like, for instance, now we're on starboard tack. Remember I told you that's the right side of the boat, the starboard side?
Oh, when we go right?
No, you don't go right. No, that's the right side of the boat. Not the correct side, but the right side is the starboard side. We're on starboard tack now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right. Now, that's the port side of the boat over here.
That's where the wine's kept?
Well, no. It's not that kind of port. It's port meaning left on a sailboat. That's port, that's starboard. I think you've got that down. That's enough for that for now. Now, let's go.
Is this a left-handed boat?
No, this is right. No, this boat is, ambidextrous, this boat. This boat can go pretty flexible. That's the stern, where you are now, and that's the bow, all the way up forward there. All right?
Okay.
Stern,
I think so.
And, well, you have to know.
Well, it's the front of the boat up there.
Well, I know, but we refer to it in sailing terminology as the bow, Miss Stone. I prefer if you please try to address the...
Bow?
No, bow. No, boat, but bow. Okay, front, right. Now, this, normally we call that down here is below decks, and up here is above decks or the cockpit. Okay? Those are two terms that are two more important terms.
Is that the kitchen down there?
Well, actually, we refer to the kitchen as the galley. The galley is over here and over here. The beginning of this what we call the salon.
Looks like a bedroom.
Yeah, well, it's not. That's a below decks of a sailboat deck. That's not a bedroom. Now, forward of that is well, you used it earlier. You know darn well what's up there.
Oh, the toilet.
Yeah. No, we refer to it, as I told you before, as the head. Okay? It's where the ship's library is, the foul weather gear, remember, not the raincoat, the foul weather gear. And then forward of that, of course, is what's called the forecastle, or forecastle. That's where the crew normally resides.
And the fish.
The fish.
I saw a fishing pole up there.
Well, yes, but that's for a different... Well, this is not a fishing instruction. This is a sailing instruction. Now, you finally learned how to steer the boat. Look, there was a few close calls before, huh?
No, we didn't. Nothing was close.
Well, you're lucky it was a plastic channel marker when it bobbed up from after the...
That's why they make them that way. I thought you're supposed to
some of them are
touch
steel,
them
Miss
and
Stone.
then continue on.
Some of them are made out of steel. And as far as the Long Wharf in Sag Harbor, that's a steel wharf. You can't just go hitting it like that. And do you realize what kind of damage you... I mean, there's nothing structural, but, that's my insurance. I don't know if my insurance is going to cover that. I think I might, next lesson might cost you a little more if you insist on smashing into docks and stuff,
Well, if it comes with the tape, it's fine. It's okay.
Well, Miss Stone, please. Under here, we keep the life preservers. Under this seat, under here, we keep the anchor. Those two items, you never know, but they might come in very, very handy, especially sailing with you, at different times. So, I see you're looking up. What do you see up ahead now?
We're coming into the channel now.
You remember? It's called the channel. Okay. What channel is it? Do you remember?
East Hampton.
Okay. Close enough. It's actually 3 Mile Harbor. You could be a little more specific. And, you feel that you've learned anything more about sailing? Has it been worth it to you? I think my rate is pretty fair,
I don't know.
I think $3 an hour is, really pretty fair considering the damage that you did to the boat.
$3 an hour, but what about that $50 an hour labor charge?
Well, that's separate. That's incidental. Miss Stone, I think what the $50, so it's 50. All right, it'd be about. Look, let's just round it off. We'll make the whole thing $60, the whole lesson. Okay.
Okay. Can I pay cash? No, check, credit card. Sorry, I don't have any cash.
I really don't have the facilities to accept a credit card. Don't tell me we're going to have this problem at sea. Even a personal check would be better than a credit card.
American Express.
I'm
sorry.
You don't
take American Express?
We only accept Visa. Oh, what's happening here? Well, as you can see, there are 3 boats tied up to that mooring ball right there. This is a mooring field. Normally, what you try to do is, if you come into a mooring field, you discreetly anchor. And if nobody comes and chases you away, you have yourself a nice night. This sailor over here took a different approach. He just grabbed the mooring. Now, what's happening is this fella here with the Egg Harbor there with the fly bridge owns that mooring. That's his buddy. They like to have a few cocktails now and then. Matter of fact, they like to come get out to the mooring field, get away from the gnats. So tonight they've come out, and this sailboat's tied up to their mooring. So what's he do? He beeps them. Where are the people? Back there at Wings Point, having dinner. They don't know what's happening. Well, worst case scenario is they're trying to sell the boat, and they're showing it off to the couple that's going to buy it. So they're all dining on the deck, but you don't get duck on the deck. And here this scenario develops here. Well, they're squatting. Boy, they're loud. If I listen closely, I can... Ooh. Oh, they got some plans for what they say. They got some plans for the blowboater when he returns. For that guy's own good. I hope he's not too drunk. And if he's from Connecticut, you know, he's going to have a hard dinghy. But he's going to have a hard time, too. They're upset. They're talking about making him tie up next to the little boat there, the Rosie B, and have to walk through those two boats. And those people are going to do whatever they want to him on the way out. Here we go. We got a couple of flying rats. One bold and one old. Boy, how'd you like to have to feed that carcass? He's not getting anything. So, I feel bad for these people, you know? They're going to have to come and get their boat sooner or later. Maybe what they'll do is decide to take a room on land.
Well, we're prepared to make what's termed a garbage run. And when making a garbage run, it's useful to employ the tender. As I've said in the past, these tenders are wonderful. These soft tenders. They're rated for 1,200 pounds. Let's see. If the forward section's all deflated, I guess it must be rated for around 800 pounds. So you step into the area that's better rated, like the stern. All right, so you're in the stern now. It's tacky to approach a dock, deflated. So because you forgot to pump, and you're already on your way to shore, the only thing to do is just manually get over here and inflate it. Probably 13 will do it. Like I said, 13 did it. Then you reach back here to the old trusty Evinrude, straighten it out for good form, put it on start, pull the choke out, create some fuel pressure. See if she goes on the first hit? She doesn't. See if she goes on the second? She doesn't. Third. Got it. Try not to let it smoke too much because it reveals the fact that you're polluting the water every time you start now for it. And you're out of here.